Okay, today we're going to add fractions and mixed numbers. So yesterday we added just fractions. Now, you may have ended up with a sum that was greater than 1, so you had to simplify that improper fraction or fraction greater than 1 and turn it into a mixed number. But today we have whole numbers involved also, okay? So we're going to work through the problem 5/7 plus 4 1/2. Now we're going to also come up with our 5 steps to follow every time I'm adding fractions, no matter if it's a fraction and a fraction, or a fraction and a mixed number, or two mixed numbers. These 5 steps will help us to solve every fraction addition problem correctly. So what do I need to do first when I am adding fractions? Josh?
Find common denominators?
I do. I need to make sure that they have a common denominator. So step 1 is going to be find common denominators. And if my problem is 5/7 plus 4 1/2, what will my common denominator be? Rylan?
14.
It is 14. How did you come up with 14?
Because 7 times 2 is 14.
Okay, so it does work to multiply them in this case. That is also the smallest number that 7 and 2 can both go into. So I am going to change both fractions so that they have a denominator of 14. What's going to happen to this 4 right here, though? Daria?
You bring it down with the fraction.
Yeah, I bring it down with the fraction. The 4 whole does not change, okay? Now, what did we do to that 2 to get 14? Megan?
Times it by 7.
Times it by 7, and whatever I multiply the bottom by?
Do it to the top.
I need to do it to the top, okay? Now, what did we do to this 7 to get 14? Kyle?
Times 2.
Yep, and whatever I do to the bottom, everyone?
Do it to the top.
Okay. All right, so I now have common denominators. I've completed step 1. What do I need to do next to solve this problem? Cameron?
Add the numerator.
Okay, so step 2 is add the numerators. Okay, what is 10 plus 7? 17. Okay, how do I come up with my denominator for the fraction? Rylan? It does stay the same. So step 3 will be denominator stays the same. And what was my denominator that's going to stay the same?
14.
14. Okay. Now, in this case, this one was a fraction. Our first one was just a fraction that stayed a fraction. But this one's got a whole number involved. So what am I going to do with that whole number?
Bring it down.
I am. Now, if there were 2 whole numbers, I would do what to the 2 whole numbers?
Add them.
I would add them. So we're going to go ahead and put step 4. It just happens that in this case, this is like a 0 for the whole number. Okay? But step 4 would be to add the whole number.
Can I get that?
Sure. Ooh, okay, cool. Thanks. Okay, so what is 0 plus 4? 4, right?
Yeah.
So bring my 4 down. All right, so I have followed all the steps to adding, and I'm left with 4 and 17 tenths. So what is, yeah, 14, sorry, 4 and 17, 14. What do we know about that mixed number? Gabe?
It's a fraction greater than 1.
It is a fraction greater than 1. That the fractional piece of our mixed number is greater than 1. So I do need to simplify this. That is our last step. So number 5 is simplify. I am going to put if possible, because not every problem, when we add them together, it'll need to be simplified in this last step. Sometimes our answer is in simplest form. So how am I going to go about simplifying this, though? What do you think I'm going to do, Hayden?
You are going to put 14 and 17.
Okay, I'm going to ask myself, how many times does 14 go into 17? Once. What am I going to do with that 1?
Add to 4.
Yeah, I already have 4 whole right here. So now I'm going to say that 14 went into 17 one whole time. So I like to put the little 1 there to show like I'm carrying it over. Okay? So my 4 is going to become a 5 whole now. How many did I have left over after that 14 went into 17? 3 was left over. And how do I come up with my denominator? Good. So my final answer is 5 and 3/14. We're going to try another addition problem, and we're going to follow those 5 steps to make sure we work through the whole thing. All right, let's try 4 1/2 plus 1/5. Okay, what does step 1 tell me I need to do? Kate, what's step 1?
Step 1 is to find a common denominator.
So what's a common denominator for 2 and 5? 10. Okay. Okay. What am I going to do with my 4 here?
Carry it down.
Good. Bring it down. Now, what did I do, Jack, to this 2 to get 10? I did times it by 5. And whatever I do to the bottom? Okay. And Allie, what did I do to this 5 right here to get 10? And whatever I do to the bottom? Okay. So I found common denominators. So that's step 1. What does step 2 say I need to do? Michelle? Add the numerators. So 5 plus 2 is 7. What does step 3 say? Denominator is going to stay the same. Okay. Step 4, McKenna. I'm going to add the whole numbers. Now, in this case, I have a 4 and a 0. Okay, so like last time, I have nothing in the other spot. So I'm going to say 4 plus 0 is
4.
Okay. And what does step 5 say? Brooklyn?
Simplify as possible.
Can I simplify 4 and 7/10? No. 7/10 is in simplest form. So my answer is finished at this step. So that's why we wrote the if possible. Not every answer will be simplified. Okay. Questions? Okay, we're going to do one more where I have to simplify. So let's try 3 1/2 plus 2/3. Okay, I'd like for you to solve 3 1/2 plus 2/3 following our 5 steps, and then we will compare answers. start boxing your answer. That's a really good idea. With all of the fractions and things you're going to have on your page, boxing your answer at the end will make it very clear what our final answers are. All right, step 1. Ashley.
Common denominators.
And what am I going to use for 2 and 3? 6. Okay, what did I do to this 3 here to get 6? What did I do to the bottom?
You do the top.
What did I do to my 2 here? What did I do to the bottom? Okay, what am I missing still?
The whole number.
My whole number, okay. All right, step 2. Grant, what's step 2? Tell me. Add the numerators. All right, 3 plus 4?
7.
Okay. Here. Denominator for step 3? Stays the same. Step 4?
Add the whole numbers.
All right, so I'm all the way down to simplify if possible. Can I simplify 3 and 7 6? I do want to, it is a mixed number, and I don't want to leave it as a mixed number with a fraction that's greater than 1 on it. Okay? So what am I going to do to solve this problem that I have right now? Rand?
Well, I did 6 goes into 7 once.
Yep.
So then we do 3 plus the 1.
Good. So he carried that 1 whole that went in there. 3 plus 1 is 4.
And then there's 1 left over, and then 1 6.
And then 1 6. Denominator stays the same. And my boxed answer so that I don't accidentally think my final answer was 3 and 7 6. Okay? Questions? Comments? Concerns? All right. C-dub 3 and 4.